In this video, we're going to find the volume underneath this surface within this region. So we've got a choice. We can either use dx by dy, or we can use dy by dx. So looking at the surface, would you rather integrate this with respect to x, so that this is a variable, or would you rather integrate it with respect to y, where this is the only variable? Well, think about it. As it turns out, this one would be easier than this one. Okay, so we are going to use this. So to work out the volume, we need to evaluate this integral. So let's try and integrate this. Looking at this, notice that this thing here, the x, is the derivative of this bubble here when you do it with respect to y. So when you do it with respect to y, just notice that this is the derivative of this thing here. So you know it's going to be easy to integrate. So you're looking for something in such a way that when you differentiate it, it will give you this. Well, if you make this to be your initial guess, 1 plus x y. So when you differentiate this, it will be 1 over the bubble, and then times the derivative of the bubble itself, which will be x. So this x gets multiplied to the top, giving you x over this thing here. So notice that this thing here is exactly the same as this. So when you integrate this, it's simply this thing here. But remember, when you integrate it, it should be the absolute value of this. So anyway, integrate this, it will give you this. And if you can't follow what I'm doing, then use substitution. It would be more work, but if you don't understand what I've done, then use substitution. Well, anyway, to integrate this, it will give you this. And then we are integrating from 0 to 2. So now put 2 into the y. So this thing here will become oh, I forgot to mention it, when you integrate it, it's the absolute value. But if you look at our region 3, 2, x 3, 2, x and y are such that this thing here will never be negative. So so we can forget about the absolute, because x and y, our region 3, 2, this quantity here will never be negative. So ignore the absolute and just work with normal brackets. Okay, so now we can put 2 into there. We can put 2 into here. So that will then give us this, and then take away and then put 0 into here. So when you put 0 into the y here, this will become 0, giving you natural log of 1. But natural log of 1 is just 0. So so this whole thing here will then become this. So now it's just a matter of us integrating this. So to integrate this, remember from calculus 2, when you integrate this, we would use integration by parts. You would imagine that this is one block and you've got a block of 1, and then use integration by parts, and then it will lead you to this plus c, but forget about the c. So when you integrate this, it will give you this thing here. So if you look at this is very similar to this. Well, it's just that you've got something more complicated than the x. So let's use substitution. So let w be this bubble here. So dw equals this. Make dx a subject. Divide both sides by 2. That will then give you this. So now we can put this into the dx. We can put this into the put the w into that thing there. That will then give us this thing here. So you've got a constant of a half here. So drag the half out. That will then give you this. And hang on. So back here we make this substitution. So we would put this into here. That will then give us this. This into here. I forgot to change the limit. So here we are doing from x equals 0 to x equals 3, but we made this substitution, so we need to work in terms of w. We need to work in terms of w. Well, we made this substitution here. W equals this thing. So if we're integrating from x equals 0, put 0 into the x, so that would be w equals 1. So we are integrating from w equals 1, to, well, up here we would put a 3 into the x here. That would be 1 plus 6, that would be 7. So we are integrating from w equals 1 to w equals 7. That's this 7 here. So in the x realm, we are integrating from 0 to 3, but in the w realm, we are integrating from 1 to 7. So anyway, we are now here. So we can easily integrate this now. That's this thing here. So it's simply w, not natural log of w, take away w. So that will then give us this thing here. That will then give us this thing here from 1 to 7. So now we can put 7 into here. That will then give us this 7 here. Put 7 into natural log of w, which is this thing here. Put 7 into here. That will then give us this. And then you take away this thing here. So you put 1 into here and put 1 into here. That will then give you this. And then you remember you're taking away a negative here, so it's going to be a plus. And then put a 1 into here. Plus 1. Well, natural log of 1 is 0. So this thing here disappears. Merge these two together. That will then give you 6. That will then give you 6. And then a half times 6 will give you 3. A half times this thing here will give you this. Overall, the answer is this. Okay.